All right, everybody, welcome back to the Golden Tee Lounge. Happy Monday. Kevin Lindsay here. It is Mixed Up Monday time. You are looking at hole 13 of Misty Springs from Golden Tee, I believe 2007 or 2008. Nice little par 5 to kick things off here. Quick note, if you've been living under a rock and just have not been around the last couple of days, breaking news, as of Friday, the Golden Tee World Championship is going to be broadcasted on ESPN sometime later this summer in a 30-minute highlight segment. So huge news for us here. It's been something that we've been dying to tell you guys over the last couple weeks, and everything finally is put in motion for us to be able to do so. So if this is your first time hearing that, I will forgive you. If not, make sure that you go to goldentee.com, check out the article for all the details that we have right now, and get out there, share it on social media. You guys have been blowing up our feeds all weekend long with that news, and we're just as excited as you guys. Doesn't make us any more nervous than we already are to put on a great production for you guys. But 1.5 weeks from today, what is it, 10 days, 11 days? 11 days, I think, until the closest to the pin contest on Friday, June 21st in Las Vegas at the Orleans Hotel and Casino. So if you have not made your plans to get out there, do so now. You guys are running out of time. 2 qualifying spots left to go. So 72 players have already qualified. 2 spots remaining. So first place and second place in our closest to the pin contest for non-qualifiers only. So 2 players will walk into the Orleans Hotel and Casino showroom on Friday in Las Vegas, Friday, June 21st. And 2 people will become those final 2 qualifiers for World Championship. Todd, thank you for joining us. I will forgive you. I understand you get busy. Not everybody can jump in around lunchtime to watch these things, so thank you for joining us. Ben and Don, sorry you guys cannot play prizes in Louisiana. I feel your pain, but feel free to head out to Las Vegas, play in the World Championship. But Eric Rios, Shane Tomer, thank you guys for joining us as well. $1,598 in the prize pool today. Daniel Rush, Max Capital, thanks for joining us on YouTube as well. Good to hear from some of you. Like I said, lots of exciting stuff going on, but if I keep talking about all the news we have going on, we will never get started in today's Monday Mix-Up contest. So Misty Springs, Golden Tee, 2008. You're looking at hole 13, a nice par 5. Really good setup, actually, for today's contest. New trackball that we put in on Thursday hopefully treats me just as well. Apologies for not being able to live stream on Friday. Had a lot of things going on in the office and had to get out of here early. So appreciate you guys all joining us for today. We have an event this week, the All Par 3 event. Lots of prizes online for that. We'll have a live stream of that most likely tomorrow. And then we also have Classic Course of the Week is Bonnie Moore. So tomorrow we'll play the Par 3 event for a couple of games. On Wednesday we'll have a live stream of Bonnie Moore. And then on Thursday, Throwback Thursday. And then Friday, Freaky Friday. So full setup here this week as we get prepped for the World Championship. Lots of fun stuff going on. Hole 2, number 9, par 4, sometimes drivable. Not the case here, but that right 7's going to lend us to get some shot points, I believe. Just there, just on by. Ron Van Duzer, thank you for joining us on Facebook as well with a thumbs up. Appreciate you guys. If you cannot join us next weekend in Las Vegas for the World Championship, make sure that you are tuned in to goldentee.com, Golden Tee's YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch TV channel, as that's where we will be streaming the World Championship. Friday, the closest to the pin contest. Saturday, qualifier and audience participation events. And then, of course, the Silver Bracket Championship and then the World Championship Sunday afternoon. Justin Clark, sorry, my friend. Disappointed that you will not be joining us, but you can't be mad at me. Hole 4, actually, hole 3 in Misty Springs. Nice little par 3 setup there. shot points on hole 4, so always happy with that. Jeff Nutty, thanks for joining us on Facebook as well. Oh wow, this is a fun setup here. Hole 5, which is hole 18. Actually, used to be a very hard par 4, but I think tees have made this a little bit easier, and actually this is a nice setup. At least I say that now until I put my shot in the water. I think I'm going to play it safe, and I'm just going to go ahead and hit a 10.5 degree driver here. It is an up 10 green, so you do have to be careful of that. We are going to funnel this shot in through the trees right here. Oh, just like that. Thank goodness. And look at that. If it stays on the green. So 10.5 degree driver is a little bit, even at 106 miles per hour, a little too hard there. But this is game 1 of probably 3 or 4 or 5. So we are just going to play things safe here as we try out. We know that we can get through that gap without a problem. 3 wood, actually, because we're so close to those trees, shouldn't have a problem as well. That might be the club of choice with some bite. So we'll see what happens in game 2. But hole 18 out of the way pretty quickly, which means we can focus on the rest of the event. Hole 6 is actually a par 5, which is typically number 7. Normally don't get a look this close where you could potentially hit a spinny C3 out into the fairway and go towards the green in 1. Most of the time, you're going to lay up here and then on this little fairway yard, or whatever we call it. But just for the heck of it, we're going to try something different since it is our Explorer game. I hit the tree, so that's not going to help us. But probably better off just going up left to the layup spot.
Peter, any comments on the win?
Wes, not right now. There's no way to scroll up the leaderboard. Just able to see what the game shows you for those current scores based on where you're at. Not sure how my driver clipped all those trees and still got through, but we'll take it for sure as we get things started here. Super spin 8-iron, even though I was on heavy rough, I got a little bit of a kickback, nothing too much. Won't matter for the next game because we're just going to play the layup spot and get our eagle in. Hole 7, which is normally number 5, a little bit farther to the right than normal. Sometimes you usually get a look that's pretty straightforward at this. We're going to have to go around some trees, but nothing that is not too crazy. Of course, have to worry about the springs of Misty Springs popping up and grabbing your golf ball. Almost forgot about that. That was a bad chip. Shout out to Adam Kramer. Thanks for joining us, presumably from maybe the delivery room. Adam is soon to be having a baby, so shout out to Adam for joining us, and congratulations whenever that happens in the next couple hours or so. But hole 8, number 12, par 3. Again, a lot of these looks for Monday mix-up, pretty clean, straightforward looks, especially for the par 3s. And I know last week for Monday Mix-Up, we had a little bit of a strategy in place. We started at hole 18 and ended on hole 2 and kind of went back and forth. For this week's Misty Springs Mix-Up, just put all 18 holes in a random list generator and then went with it as is. But so far, it looks promising. I mean, we've had a few little mistakes here and there, but nothing too crazy. Hole 9, which is normally hole 8, we saw this a few weeks ago, I think in Freaky Friday or one of the events. Hard to tell. Not an easy look, but also not something we should worry about. We're just going to take 9.5 degree driver. I'm not going to crush it, but I'm not going to worry about hitting it soft either because a lot of opportunities to back up and clear the green here. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw a YouTube shot of the day with somebody bouncing it off of the rock wall there. Down 7, I knew I should have pulled the trackball back, but I was too busy flapping my lips, so silly mistake there, but nothing we can't overcome for games 2 and 3. Hole 10, number 17. Because it's earlier in the contest and not hole 17, not bad with the wind, 7-mile-an-hour wind to about the 6:30, 7 o'clock, and down 6, left 5. So we're just going to move the tee over, still use medium tee with bite. I've got super spin 8-iron, so I'm probably going to kick back a little bit more than you guys will. But we're just looking at, to get birdie here. Could probably get a little bit cuter with the shot to try to get some great shot points and drop in the hole, but we'll wait until the next couple of games before we start doing that kind of stuff. Hole 11, number 4, a par 5. Very nice look here. Also appreciate that 13-mile-an-hour wind. We're just going to play it here and hopefully stay on the fairway fringe, but we're on heavy rough. But because that that pin is all the way in the top right corner, it gives us really, really good clearance, even with that heavy rough, to just take a 3 hybrid and just, this actually might. Oh, come on. All right, not going in the hole for double eagle, but actually not a bad strategy. Play it in that heavy rough, take that 3 hybrid with backspin, and get just enough kick with the grabbers to at least get some great shot points, hopefully fall in the cup for double eagle. Max Capital on YouTube asks, what does it mean when your trackball rattles and is it not smooth? Is there a fix for it? Trackballs are a funny thing to talk about because the sound that the trackball makes is not necessarily what should matter. It depends on how it's playing. If the trackball is playing well and like normal to you, I would not worry about anything. Just because it sounds a little weird doesn't mean that it's necessarily not working properly. But what you could do is take the trackball out of your game and then pop the trackball open. Just make sure that the trackball itself is clean and that there's no dust or debris. Depending on the location of your game, whether it's in a basement or a dusty garage or anything like that, the bearings can get a little dusty and dirty, and those, never hurts to clean those out. So that's most likely what's going on there. But worst comes to worst, if it still seems to give you issues, just go ahead and reach out to us on the Golden Tee website, and we'll see what we can do to help you out there. Hole 13, number 11 on the typical Misty Springs. Pretty straightforward, par 4. Nice tee box for us there. Tyrone McAfee, thanks for joining us on Facebook as well. Hole 14, which is normally number 2, a par 4. We're just going to hit a big A1. Not really worried about hitting the trees because honestly, even if you do, you should have more than enough clearance to make it. We are going to just push this forward with release. Let that 12-mile-an-hour wind work the rest of the way. All right, hole 15, number 16 on the typical Misty Springs course. Nice long par 5 here, but nothing to worry about. I'm going to use a 10.5-degree driver and just do a spinning A1. So we're going to spin the trackball all the way out to the A, and while it's still spinning, hit it out to the 1 to try to get that maximum distance. I use the 10.5-degree driver just in case I came around any trees, but looks like it's going to be pretty clean there. This is where it's going to get a little tricky. So you got the 6-iron, a lot of trees in your way. Again, if you're new to prize play or you're used to playing casual, there's no harm in laying up here and taking the birdie. Donnie Smith, you're absolutely welcome for the live stream. Always a pleasure. Have fun doing it. Depending on if we would have gone back and maybe hit a 5-wood or a 3-wood, I could have had a 6-wood maybe, or excuse me, an 8-wood around. Instead, I'm honestly just going to push my luck here because it's only game 1. I'm going to take my 5 hybrid and go around those trees to the left and then hopefully catch the green. Yeah, and actually that's going to be pretty straightforward. That fringe would have helped tremendously, but now we just have to worry about a down 9 putt for eagle, but we're going to pull back to C a little bit. I ended up pushing that forward a little too fast, so I got the rollover. But again, it's a down 9 putt. So hole 16, or excuse me, hole 15 is in particular, you're going to have to worry about that ball rolling over just because that green's going to produce a 7 or 8 or even 9 downslope. Hole 16, number 1 to kick things off here. So nice little break in between after a difficult par 5. Now you get to experience hole 1 with a little bit of a longer look. 11-mile-an-hour wind, nothing too crazy. Could have used some backspin there. Hole 17 is normally number 14. Be careful here because there's a lot of water that you can get stuck into. A little bit of a wind in your face. I'm going to high tee my driver, and I just want to get it out there as far as possible into the fairway so I can take advantage of that 14-mile-an-hour wind for our approach shot. So a little bit difficult, or more difficult than your average par 4, but with that 14-mile-an-hour wind blowing to the left, it should actually be really easy. We're not even going to put spin on this. We're just going to push this out and use that 14-mile-an-hour wind to our advantage. No spin needed. If you put backspin or spin on there, just be careful because you're going to hit that green and potentially go flying into the fringe or that heavy rough, or even the little stream that's going along the hole there. All right, hole 18, number 6, pretty straightforward, par 3. See this thing closest to the pin a lot. We are just going to put release on this and push it forward. Probably could have used roll. That would have went in the cup, but nice little par 3 to end things off. So shot at 21, not the worst thing in the world. This is only game 1, so if you're just joining us on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch TV, this is just game 1 of today's daily contest Monday mix-up on Misty Springs. No pars or bogeys, which I'm proud, especially of that. So we'll go ahead and get game 2 started. Let's see if we can work out some of the kinks from game 1 and get closer to that par there of 26. $1,598 in the prize pool for today's Monday mix-up. 27 at the top of the leaderboard, a few 26s and a few 25s, but it is still pretty early. So hopefully, by the time you guys get out there, we'll have a good game put together. Have a hole out or 2, and we'll be rocking and rolling. So, hole number 1, normally hole 13 from Misty Springs. I want to say this is Golden Tee 2008. Might be wrong on that, need to double check it, but we're going to go with 2008. Down 3, right 5 slope. I'm going to actually just use my 5 hybrid. I'm going to push it out to the left, give it a little bit of a kick because I'm in between clubs. And just like that, might not get shot points, but putting in for eagle to kick things off here for game 2 of Misty Springs. Hole 2, par 4, normally number 9. I believe this does have a drivable setup on it at some point, although it's something that rarely shows up. Not a big deal here, though, because we're just going to use that right 7 slope to our advantage to hopefully grab the cup. Came in a little bit hot with that 5 hybrid. But again, for those of you just joining us, we've already played through 1 game of Misty Springs, and all of those setups, very doable. 1 or 2 holes that'll make you think a little bit more than normal, but pretty straightforward for an old school course on Monday mix-up. Hole 3, which is normally 15. Drivable par 4. We're just going to push out a 3-wood. Could probably go a little bit softer and out to the left, but not a big deal. All right, 37 feet away from the cup. I try to do this at least once or twice every live stream. Up green, you got about 40-foot putt almost. Click 1 to the left. Make sure that green slope doesn't change. So it's up 5 when I go left 1, which almost positively means when I go right again, it'll show an up 5 right slope. Yeah. So it means that this green, even though it's ever so slightly and not enough for the game to tell you looking at the cup, there's a very slight slope to the right. So just be careful that for something like this where we're 37 feet away, doesn't matter too much, but the farther you get away from the cup, the more that right or left slope, however it changes, one click left and one click right, will affect your ball there potentially. Hole number 4, which is normally number 3, the first par 3. Pretty easy setup here, just a nice little 8-wood. I moved my tee box, or excuse me, my tee over to the right a little bit just to play off that 3-mile-an-hour wind to the left. Matt, if you go to the Golden Tee Caddy mobile app or the goldentee.com website, actually I'll walk you through it right now. If you go to the Golden Tee Caddy mobile app and then click on the box on the top left, there's a Pro Shop section, and that's where you can customize your golf ball, customize your clubs, customize your putter, all that kind of stuff. So you just want to go ahead and click Customize Your Ball, click on Add a Ball, and then there's all kinds of effects that you can go through and add to your golf ball. All right, hole number 5, typically hole 18, and I say typically because it's always hole 18. Not a hard setup. I know you're looking at me and looking at these trees going, how is this not a hard setup? But let me tell you, I hit a 10.5 degree driver, and it was actually too hard. So we are going to move our tee ever so slightly to the right. I'm going to take a 3-wood, and we're just going to funnel it right through that right gap of the trees. And even that was probably too hard. Again, just trying to be very careful. And by saying I'm very careful, then I'm going to try to chip in for eagle. But hey, caught the bottom of the cup, so thanks for that. So 3-wood's probably going to be your club of choice. You just got to be careful. Not really going to affect us here, but sometimes those tree branches hang low if you're farther back in the tee box. Shouldn't be a problem here, but even the 3-wood was a little bit too much, so we'll have to go ahead and hit a softer 3-wood or maybe move our tee box back a bit for the next shot. Hole 6, par 5, pretty straightforward. We tried going out to the right last time, no reason. We're just going to use a 6-wood for this little layup spot here. You got to be careful because of this lone tree. So we're actually going to hit a 5-wood, and we're going to cut it out to the right a little bit. And I actually it would not be a live stream of me playing Golden Tee if I did not hit a leaf that didn't actually belong there. Now that was kind of close, and I actually hit that, so I can't even be mad. But just be careful of that tree. You've got to work a little hard to get to that layup spot. All right, we're just going to play things safe because we made the birdie from the last hole, so we are just going to take our lob wedge and just land here on the little fairway grass. Yeah, first cut. Now we can just take our 9.5 degree driver. We're going to cut a little bit into the wind. Oh, that would have been so nice if I made that for eagle. I would have felt a little redeemed. But even though it's par 5 and we took a birdie, not a big deal. Only game 2. With every daily contest that we have, whether it's Monday mix-up, Throwback Thursday, Freaky Friday, always the same contest course setup. So the tee boxes are going to be the same, the winds, the pin placements, the tree placements, all that's going to be the same for all 24 hours. So this is a perfect tool. I know I sound like a broken record, but it really is a good teaching tool for players that are new to this game. So watch out for the little geyser here, geyser, whatever you want to call it. We are going to tee our shot over to the left. I'm going to use a 10.5 degree driver. Just going to hit it gently out there. You want to hit it hard enough that it catches the green, but you might be doing some chipping like yours truly, just because, well, you know, what would be a live stream without some chipping? Matt, thank you. Todd, thank you. I would say I'm kind of good at what I do. I appreciate it. The Mouth, Mark Mucklitz, actually just reached out to me, so I'm going to text him. make sure everything is good. Probably getting excited and amped for the Golden Tee World Championship. We just sent more information to our qualified players, so a lot of buzz and a lot of excitement going on there with those guys. Kevin, thank you for joining us on Facebook. Kevin LaRock, a familiar face during our daily contest live streams. Hole number 9, which is also hole 8 during the regular Misty Springs setup. Again, not the best setup in the world. Far right tee box, so you don't have a clean look at it, but we're just going to take a 9.5 degree driver, go right around these trees. Not going to crush it, but I'm not going to hit it soft either. I actually should have hit it harder. But what I did the first game was I just hit it and ended up using that green space, and well, I guess that's a consolation prize. Being able to hole out for birdie, I mean, I guess it's better than nothing, right? Or as my father says, better than a kick in the teeth. So we'll take the birdie, but your play here is to use that big rock wall and that mound of dirt, rough, whatever you want to call it, behind the green to just play your shot off that hill and take a putt in for eagle. Not what I did there, but what I wanted to do. Since we're on our streak of doing well, we are going to low tee an 8-iron here on hole 10. This is normally what you see on hole 17, but because it's earlier in the program, we get a softer wind and a softer green slope. So it's down 6, left 5, 7 in the face, about the 6:30 on the clock. I low teed this, so I'm going to actually hit this nice and soft. I just want this to hit the green and just roll down towards the pin. I actually hit that way too soft because I was so nervous about hitting the water. But because I have the super spin on my irons, I have to be a little bit more careful than a normal player that doesn't have the spin or partial spin. Because even with bite, as you guys saw in game 1, the slight elevation change in the bite on that iron will make it kick back pretty quickly. Hole 11, number 4, par 5. Pretty straightforward setup. Perfect pin placement because it's the far right. Even being on the first cut, actually when I had my first shot, I ended up being a little bit farther here in the darker green, which was rough, actually heavy rough, and it actually helped me because I was able to take a 3 hybrid and just go right at it with a half kick of backspin. But what we're going to do here is we're just going to play into the wind a little bit. I'm going to hit it soft because the elevation changes, and it should stop for great shot points. So see how I pulled the trackball back to the right of the letter B and then hit it to the right of the 2. So it played with a little bit of a left hook, but then that wind blew it towards to the right and able to catch it with some great shot points. Hole 12, number 10 here of Misty Springs. Pretty straightforward par 4. Just have to be worried about or be aware of the 2 big sand bunkers on the left and right side of the green, and also the slight elevation change. Again, super spin clubs here, so I'm actually going to put no spin on it, and I'm just going to hit it straight and let that wind blow it all the way to the left. Kevin asks, what's the best club for chipping? And no, not me, Kevin, but Kevin LaRock on Facebook, one of our viewers right now. I use the 5 hybrid for chipping. I can't say it's the best thing in the world, but as somebody who is not good at aiming his chip shots, the 5 hybrid is a low loft club, so it's going to come in hot. So there, you do run the risk of potentially rolling over the cup. But at the same time, there's plenty of instances where you guys have seen on this live stream, I chip with the 5 hybrid, it hits the dead center of the cup and falls in. So I like it because because it's such a low lofted club and it comes out so hot, it's going to take away. Thank you very much. I actually thought that was going to happen, and I'm like, I'm going to send this to YouTube, so I'm going to shut this off for a second. Just because I don't think I've ever actually hit an ultra shot, so we're going to roll with that. but that's hilarious. Thankfully, you guys were all here to watch that happen because, yes, Joe on YouTube says the stream's over. Now, if that was a par 3 or a par 4 hole-in-one, I would have done so, but that was just so clean. We're just gonna walk with it. But as I was saying, I use the 5 hybrid because it takes some of the wind in the green slope out of play. You just have to be careful because you are going to see a bit more of rollovers if you're not hitting that dead center of the cup. Hole 14 is normally number 2. I just kind of hit a big C3 out there. No big deal because this is a pretty straightforward shot. So I've got super spin. I'm going to just put roll on that. I hit it soft, and I did exactly what I wanted to do. Let the ball hit the green, and just that roll and the super spin just took off. Appreciate the comments on the shot. It's not often that I do something that actually works out well, so I'm happy for that. Hole 15, long par 5, typically number 16 in the regular Misty setup, so nothing too strange here. I crushed a 10.5 degree driver with a big C3 to hit it for distance. I'm going to play something different. I'm just going to hit the driver straight. I'm not going to hit it too hard. I just want to hit it out there. You see on the shot feedback meter 110 miles an hour, nothing crazy. The reason I did this is because I want to have the 5 or the 6 wood to try a different approach to this par 5. So I'm going to club up to the 5 wood. I'm going to throw it out there. It's going to hopefully catch the green or, in Kevin Lindsay fashion, go in the water after a great shot. No big deal. So there's a balance. So I'm actually, for game 3, what I'm going to do on that hole is I'm actually going to hit a 3 wood soft and then have a driver. So I'm taking more of those tree branches and those tree trunks out of play. And then you're just looking at hole 1 from Misty Springs, which ended up in number 16 spot order today. Nothing too crazy. Nice little 5 hybrid in towards the green. Hole 17, par 4, a little bit longer of a look than what you might have normally seen in Misty. I'm going to high tee my driver, and I'm going to crush it a little bit out to the left. The goal here is to get as far out there as possible, so then we have the advantage of the left 14 mile an hour wind. So if you didn't get a chance to catch the first game, I put no spin on my shot. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to pull this out and throw it out there, and I'm not going to put any spin on it. I'm going to let the 14 mile an hour wind take care of it. You got to be careful. If you put spin on it, you'll have to be careful because even though there's a big green, there's a good chance that you'll end up in the fringe, the heavy rough, or even the water. There I took it pretty simple, and that's why I've been going no spin on that shot. Hole 18, number hole 6. Nice little par 3. First time I used release. Didn't quite get there with that 10 mile an hour wind. I'm going to use roll this time. Just going to push that forward and see if I can close out this game with an ace. Nope. A little bit too far to the right. But that's only game 2. We've got plenty of action still to go. Donnie Smith, I do not thumb the trackball. It's something I've tried to get better at. It's just something after playing pullback and no pullback shots for 23 years or close to it. It's just hard for me to break it. There are some shots that look so good that I might just use thumbs anyways. At hole 18, that par 3 might be an instance where I actually can try thumbs for the next game here. $1,598 in the prize pool, $145 top prize, 300 spots paid, as always, with the daily contest. So, plenty of time left to go get out there and shoot some scores. I didn't high tee this one, and I thought I was going to regret it, which I do. I'm going to have to cut an 8 wood, which is not the worst thing in the world, but on this hole 1, this par 5, just high tee it, spend a couple of cents on a high tee, and then just crush your shot out there. That way, you'll have less opportunity or less chances to worry about making your chip or missing it on the very first hole of your game.
Let's watch the tee shot. Ball for 1.
Hole 2, Monday mix-up. Typically number 9 on Misty Springs. Pretty straightforward look here.
No excuses from this line.
I'm going to take the 6-iron. I'm going to pull it back, and I'm going to hit it a little bit to the left. No spin. I'm just going to let that right 7 green slope hopefully just kind of lead the way. I needed the in-between of what the shot I just hit and the shot I hit in game 2, because that balance would probably have been perfect for a hole out there. Joe, it's definitely going to be, Joe just said on YouTube he's played his first game of Golden Tee since the 4 days. Definitely a different game, but still a lot of fun. So I'm glad that you had fun. It'll take some time to get used to it, but I promise, once you start getting in the groove of things, you'll get right back into it pretty quickly. I actually, one of our qualifiers for the World Championship was a big player back in the 4 days, Dean Liakakos. Great player, great person, great tournament personality, and friend of the program. He qualified for the World Championship this year, and he's not a guy that plays much anymore. So you're starting to see the resurgence of some of those 4 guys getting that itch to compete again and be on that big stage of the World Championship. So lots of fun there, and very happy to have him joining us. And Joe, thank you for joining us in this live stream and getting back into the action. Hole number 3, typically hole 15, little drivable par 4 there. Hole number 4 is normally hole number 3 for Misty Springs normal setup. I'm just going to move my 8 wood back a little bit to the right of the tee box, and then I'm just going to push that forward. Let's see, will that actually do it? Could it do it? Right past the cup. But you can see, even though that wind's only blowing 3 miles an hour to the left, just moving that tee box or my tee placement back and a hair to the right really does make a difference. That's why when you watch these tournament matches, you watch the World Championship next weekend, you're going to see these top competitors. They're going to make the most minor adjustments of their tees that might not make sense to you, but as I try to incorporate these more and more into my live streams, and you guys watch these more, you'll understand how just something like an inch or 2 in game can really make a difference on your approach shot. Hole 5, we're going to use a 3 wood again, but we're going to tee this back with bite, and we're just going to go right through that gap. Now I hit it a little bit softer, of course, but I accidentally pushed it to the right, which means we're still chipping for eagle, but it's not going to go well. That's alright though. My advice to you is that if you find yourself in a spot like this, don't go for the eagle chip, because you're most likely not going to make it just because of that ridiculous slope, and then you're going to end up chipping in for bogey. So 3 wood's the club to go. Honestly, at this rate, we might just hit a 3 wood hard with backspin and hope for the best, but that's alright. Hole number 6, which is normally number 7. We hit the trees with our 6 wood last time, so we're just going to take a 3 hybrid and just pound that puppy straight. And we're going to land right here. That's actually perfect. 3 hybrid medium tee. You're going to land on the first cut, which gives you a perfect opportunity to go right at the green for eagle. Now, I did this last time in my layup shot, but see how we're using a driver to get there, 9.5 degree driver, but there's these trees in the way. So I'm going to pull the trackball back to the left of the B triangle on the deck, and then I'm going to hit it out to the left of the 2, so the shot curves against the wind. I avoid the trees, but also still getting close to that cup. So it's exactly what I want to do. You can see it on the trackball feedback mirror. Very, very slight movements to the left and when pulling back and hitting it forward, but just enough to counteract that 5-mile-an-hour wind and get a pretty straight shot. Hole number 7. Typically hole 5, drivable par 4. We are going to use the 3-wood this time instead of the 10.5 degree driver. Be careful because these geysers will go off and catch your ball and make it water. Make it a water ball, and then you're not going to want that. 3-wood, we're going to pull out to the A, hit it out to the 1. Just want to catch that green enough. That's actually perfect. We'll catch the fairway, or excuse me, the fringe, catch the green, and backspin right towards the hole. Look at that. For the first time, we're not chipping on hole 7. We're putting in for eagle. Hole number 8, normally hole 12, pretty straightforward par 3. We're going to get a little aggressive this time just for the fun of it. Barely hit it out, not enough to the left, but opportunity there with that 8-wood to backspin that ball right into the cup. All right, hole number 9, normally hole 8, 9.5 degree driver. We're going to play a little pin ball. Didn't hit it as hard, but there's plenty of rough, or whatever you want to call that, behind the green that you can use. So therefore, I'm not worried about hitting the trees. I'm not trying to finesse a shot. I'm just going, hitting the green, and bouncing it off of that rough. Now you're going to want to hit it a little bit farther. Hit it a little bit farther to the right than I did, because then you have a long right 7 putt for eagle, and you're going to miss it, or hopefully you don't. But again, a couple of missteps, not a big deal though. Stuff we can put together for games 3 and 4. Hole 10, normally number 17, low tee, no spin, down 6, left 5. We're just going to rock and roll this. The thought here is we're just going to push it, let that ball hit the green, and carry towards the pin. Should have been great shot points, but hey, who's counting? Nothing crazy there though. Walking away with another birdie, pretty straightforward. Hole 11, par 5. Nice setup here, except I accidentally hit my shot too far to the right. So now we are hitting out of the sand. Might not be a bad thing though. 6-wood out of the sand actually. Oh, if that would have went in, that would have been so good. So no worries, even if you get caught in the sand, you're far enough away that a 6-wood should kick out of there, and you might want to put spin on it, because otherwise you'll end up chipping like I did. Hole 12, normally number 10 for Misty Springs here. I hit this one a little bit harder with roll to eliminate more, a little bit more of the elevation change. And this time, because I'm a little bit closer, I'm going to put roll on my 9-iron and just hit it out there. Probably didn't need to do the roll part. Yeah, I definitely didn't need the roll, but that's all right. And then I just missed the chip. Sean O'Brien asks, is the 6-wood a flawed club? Every time I crank it, I barely get 230 yards. Just wondering if this ever happened to you, or just stink at using the 6-wood. The 6-wood is definitely a harder club to cut. I wouldn't say it's necessarily flawed, although some might argue that it is. But it is a lot harder of a club to cut than the 8-wood or the 5-wood. So it is something to make note of when you guys are hitting your shots, that 6-wood not always going to play against the wind like normal, or like the other clubs do.
Ready to tee off. It's golfer 1. Not much trouble here, Jim. It's in the first cut off the fairway.
Again, just going to let my 9-wood play into the wind here for hole 14. Ah, almost got it.
It hit right by the pin.
Absolutely welcome, Sean. Appreciate the question. Thank you for bringing it up. It's a good point. All right, hole 15, normally number 16. I am going to hit the 3-wood here. It sounds crazy, but I want to be able to take a 3-wood or a 10.5 degree driver and cut it in to the green here. Not something I can do with the shots I hit in the first 2 games. So I'll take the 5-wood. The game gave me a 5-wood. We'll hit the 5-wood. See if I can avoid the trees there. Look at that. Somehow managed to pull that off. Now, again, this is a down 7 green, so by the time everything's all said and done, it's down 9. So you got to be very careful the closer you get to the cup. The first time I did roll the shot over. Second time I watered, so that didn't even matter. But that green slope is going to be a killer if you're not careful with it. So just think about that when you're hitting that tee shot and the approach shot on hole 16, or excuse me, hole 15, which is normally 16. Todd asks about the difference between roll and release. There's not a lot. I mean, honestly, the difference between roll and release is similar to the difference between backspin and bite. It's really going to depend on the clubs you're hitting and the types of ball you're using. It seems like they probably do the same thing here because you don't see me hit roll very often with the super spin irons that I have because they just take off. That's why when I use release, it probably looks to you that it's a bit more like roll. And I definitely forgot to club up to the 9.5 degree driver, but that's okay. It's just one of those finesse things that just you can't really see the difference unless you know the clubs and balls that you're using. So if you're using streaks, roll's going to react different than release will, and vice versa. Because I have super spin on my grabbers, release kind of looks like a soft roll, and there's less of a difference. It kind of blends them together. Even though I'm farther back, the setup's still going to be the same. No spin on this shot. Just use that 5-wood, very gently cut into that wind, and just let it roll up towards the cup on the green. All right, hole 18. I'm going to put roll on it again. I'm not going to thumb it yet. We're not there yet, but I think this is going in. Oh, there's just something about that green that it just doesn't care that there's a 10-mile-an-hour wind blowing to the left. All right, that was game 3. Let's roll towards game 4. Monday mix-up daily contest on Misty Springs. $1,598 in the prize pool. 300 spots paid. Same setup all day long up until 1 a.m. Central Daylight Savings Time. Get out there, play as many games as you want. It's a really great teaching tool for new players. Honestly, you guys can see me. You all call me a halfway decent player from these live streams. I'm not even going to say it because then it sounds like I'm talking myself up. But I'm a somewhat decent player when I concentrate. But you guys have even seen it when these daily contests are played on the live stream. What I shoot in game 1 usually is not better than what I shoot in games 4 or 5 because you see the setups. I can say, okay, this shot, I hit the 8-wood last time, it didn't work out. Let me hit a soft 5 hybrid. You can change up the looks as long as you try to play your game the same as you do in the previous contest. That's why, especially for you guys, when it's early enough and we do these live streams and you guys get a chance to watch this, I can say, okay, I did not learn from my mistake the first time, and I hit the 5 hybrid too soft in my approach shot. So now I'm chipping in for eagle, and I made it, which is great. But on game 5, if we play that, I know I have to hit the 5 hybrid further out to the left to combat that right green slope again. So it's really just a matter of telling yourself, okay, I made a mistake on this hole, game 1 or 2 or whatever. Here's how I'm going to fix it in the following games. Or in an instance where you made a great shot, even a hole in 1, you could say, okay, like the next hole 4, for example, that par 3 where I adjusted my tee ever so slightly to the right. I know I need to adjust my tee just a hair bit farther to the right, and I'll potentially have a shot at the cup. It's just it's knowing when to make the slight changes to your game that could really make a big difference in the scoring.
Maybe you can use your lipstick to mark the ball.
Nolan, I am using a Build-A-Bag. Hopefully you can see it below. If you are watching, if you're watching vertically on your phone, it's going to come up pretty small. But if you turn your phone landscape or your iPad, you can see that I have a Build-A-Bag, and it actually lists out specifically what clubs I'm using. This is the bag that I use for a lot of the courses you guys see me play. I do have a Zero Hybrid bag that I use every once in a while. But 10.5 degree driver, 9.5 degree driver, 3 wood, 5 wood, 6 wood, 8 wood, 3 hybrid, 5 hybrid, 6, 8, 9 iron, gap and lob wedge. Pretty straightforward. I know some of you guys have actually told me that you went out and built this bag and it's helped you out. I use this on all the 2017, 2018, and 2019 courses. I know some of the top guys have slight changes in their bags sometimes. I don't, as the 25 to 29, 30 player that I can be at times. That's the clubs that I use. And I think for newer players, having 2 drivers might sound silly. And believe me, it took me months. It took me months of tournaments and live events and talking to these guys, these top players, to understand why they did it. And now I regret not doing it sooner because it really does help you out. So hole 4, we're going to move our tee backs, or our tee, all the way to the back, a little bit to the right, a little bit more than last time. I'm going to put bite on it. Now that time I unfortunately, as soon as I hit it, I knew I screwed up. I wanted to hit it a little bit farther to the right of that 2, and unfortunately I hit it straight. So no hole in one there. And Nolan, sorry, I got a breaking news alert and I was just trying to read it. So I don't know if we can make it a bag that you guys can actually buy, but what I can do is I can post up the information on the Build-A-Bag, so then you guys, I'll post it on Golden Tee's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So then you guys, what you can do is go to the GT Caddy app or the Livewire Golden Tee website, and then go to the Build-A-Bag section and actually build that bag yourselves. Pretty easy process. More than happy to answer questions if you guys need help with it, but I'll go ahead and post that up on social media this afternoon so you guys can see that bag. Maybe I'll have some of the pro guys jump in and say where they would make a little bit of changes here and there so you can get a bit of both sides, and then you guys can go ahead and make a judgment yourself there. All right, I'm going to try something different because nothing else has worked. I'm not going to move my tee. I'm going to use a 3-wood. I'm putting backspin on it because this is either going in the hole for hole 1 or it's getting wet. So we're going to just funnel it through those trees here. Now, actually, I'm going to have a heck of a putt, but we're going to chip this in. But look at this. We're actually, I knew it. As soon as I hit that, I was like, yep, I missed it. Okay, so we're not we're now chipping in for par, but that's okay. Not a big deal. Actually, you know what? Just for you guys, because it worked out last time I did this, we're going to quit game 4. We're going to start over. Also help walk you guys through how to get started on the daily contest. So, select the number of golfers, go to online, golf for prizes, and then daily contest, and then swipe on in. So we'll call this game 4.5 because we know we got to change some things up. This will be the final game before we get out of here for the afternoon. And then I'll post that bag up so you guys can get out there and build something similar. We know that on the 5 hybrid approach shot, I need to hit it farther to the left. And so we're not chipping in for eagle. So let's make that happen for you guys. I hit my 5 hybrid out farther to the left. And a little bit too far to the left. But look at that. Putting in for eagle. We're starting off things great on square one. And the nice thing about daily contest is I know you got, to quit out there and start a new game. It seems taboo to you guys, but it's something that the guys that take the top of the leaderboards do. They know, okay, I screwed up a shot. I I can't beat my best score, so I'm going to quit. I'm going to start over, which is kind of what I did there. Done it every once in a while. I try not to do it on live stream, but honestly, it's for the best for everyone. You guys are going to see, now you're going to see me hole out here on hole 2 because we changed things up. Oh, just almost there. Eric Rios, believe me, the purple and orange jerseys for the World Championships, they look great, and they're not what you are probably thinking they are. We would not make you guys wear purple and orange jerseys if they looked ridiculous. So I promise you, you have nothing to worry about, my friend. And actually, I've been waiting all day for Eric Rios to join the live stream just so I can show him these World Championship t-shirts so he can stop asking me every email I send. So this is the 2019 Golden Tee World Championship t-shirt that you guys can get at the Orleans. Might even have 1 or 2 of these as a giveaway over the next few weeks. But if you had not had a chance to pick up the 2018 World Championship t-shirt, you can buy both of them for $25 or one buy the 2019 t-shirt for $20. So there's your plug, Eric. Now you can actually communicate with me normally via email instead of asking just about t-shirts, my friend. All right. Hole 4. Move that tee over just ever so slightly so we can hit that 3-wood. That actually feels really good. Come on. Ugh. That felt much better. So I don't know if you guys caught that because I was in the moment, but I moved that tee box even more to the right because I know I've got a habit when I push forward and I don't pull back, I hit my shot straight. So I said, okay, I'm going to hit a straight shot. I need to take that right, or that wind out of play a little bit more. Same thing here. Hole 5, 3-wood, right through the gap. I actually think I hit that way too hard again, but that's okay. All right, that's not how I wanted things to end here, but
That's not what he was looking for.
all right. Do this one more time. Just an exception.
Hello, everybody.
Just for Eric Rios, since he finally joined us.
And Chris, what do you do? Time to check in.
All right, and this time we're not gonna put our shot in 5 in the water.
And the weather.
How about that? That sounds great, doesn't it? Sounds great. All right, final game. We'll call this 5.5. This is game 5.5. Nolan Peterson. So it depends. So casual mode is always cheaper than live play, but you can't play for prizes or track your golfer stats. So I always recommend.
This will need a little bit extra in this win.
All right, we're gonna be chipping, but that's okay, or putting. That's all right though.
Very close.
Yeah, it's gonna cost, and that's the thing. But if you do it, Donnie, if you quit out your game and start over, yes, it's going to cost you. But you still, instead of spending 25 minutes playing that game knowing you can't get a better score than you already have, it's a way for those top guys to help make make their games go by faster and shoot better shots quicker. Had the right line there, just hit it a little bit too soft. Honestly, Nolan, if you're just getting started, you can play casual play or play real-time rivals against John Daly and some of the good computer golfers that we have set up in casual mode. That's a good way to learn shots. Otherwise, I would go on the Golden Tee Fan Facebook group and try to find players near you. They'll usually have the best resources. Okay, come on, really? That's just I don't even know what happened there. That's what I get for trying to walk and talk and chew gum at the same time. But finding players near you is going to be the best way to get better. Also helps you find a location with multiple games or maybe cheaper games. It's really just a matter of getting on social media and finding players near you. So we're going to pretend like hole 3 never happened because I'm not starting over again. That I've never, all day I've shot that shot perfectly fine, so I'm not sure what happened there, but look at that. Finally hit a normal shot on hole 5, so power to that. All right, remember hole 6 here, you gotta be careful of this tree, so we are just gonna club down to the 3 hybrid, and we're just gonna hit that. Don't have to crush it, you just wanna hit it hard enough that it gets a nice little kick and lands on, the first cut, not the heavy rough. So we are gonna try something that's probably gonna end up in a water ball, but on Monday mixed up out at this point. Oh, look at that, hey. Heavy rough with roll might be the best way to get on the green and then miss your putt for eagle. So if you are watching this video and you've stuck around this far, your best bet is to go watch games 2 and 3 because we're just having some struggles here on Misty Springs. Nolan, the home edition and the bar version, the commercial version are slightly different. So on the home edition, you can't play for prizes. You can't play in the daily contest. You can play against your buddies in invitationals for money, depending on the state that you live in. And then eventually events mode, some form of events mode will come to the home edition as well. But for right now, they're the same exact game, same guts, same everything. That they're built the same. Just doesn't have the ability to play for prizes like the commercial units. But if you ask anybody who has a home edition, including yours truly, definitely worth it if you're trying to play more and get better. Also makes a great tool for parties, whether you have it in a basement or a garage or anything like that. We've actually seen it in all kinds of places, but still a lot of fun regardless. All right, last shot here at hole number 10. Not hard enough, but it's tough when you're trying to balance. Do I try to go for the hole in 1, or do I try to make sure I don't drop it in the water if the cup doesn't catch it? Remember, whether you're in the fairway, the first cut, the heavy rough, or the sand, because of this pin spot, you can get there without a problem. I think that's actually the first time that I've had a clean shot and not out of the rough or the sand. But the 6 wood, if you're in the sand on that hole, on hole 11, the 6 wood, if you're far enough back from the lip, will get you there. Tyrone, Misty is one of those courses that you do have to do some massaging and playing a few games to get used to it. Pretty straightforward course, but there's just a lot of little nuances that really can catch you if you're not careful.
On the green, that'll work.
Oh, I'm not sure how. As soon as I hit that, I could tell that I got caught on the fringe there. Thanks for joining us, Donnie. Hopefully you have some good luck out there and hitting some good scores. And just remember, when this stream's over in about 5 minutes or so, video auto archive on Facebook and YouTube and Twitch, so you can get out there and hopefully watch some of the good spots of this stream to help you out with your game when you get out there.
Just bombing that flag stick.
Hit that one just a little bit too hard. That's all right, though. Hole 15, just go ahead and hit that straight. You're going to have to go around the trees regardless, so just make sure you get yourself set up for the right club. I'm set up for the 6-wood, going to go to the 5. We're going to go right around those trees, and then catch the fringe, and then go in the water. Now see how that super spin just kicks that ball ever so slightly, especially when you hit the ball hard after a bad shot. Almost had a highlight reel for the ages there on hole 16. 2 holes left here. Not the best game in the world on Misty. But still opportunity to end the game with a really cool hole out and then a hole in one, just to feel like I accomplished something a little bit better than what you guys have seen so far. And in shocking development, I am chipping. Missing chip. There you go. Charlie Hall, thank you for joining in and chiming in there about the home edition. Being able to play your game whenever you want, not even to travel to bars, spend money on food and drink and all that is a really good selling point too for the home edition. All right. I cannot stand Misty Springs no longer. I'm tarnishing the image of my wonderful game, especially ever since that ultra shot on like game 2. So 9-iron with release. We're ending this on a hole in one. And just kidding, we're going to end this with a birdie putt. Make sure that you are following us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube at Golden Tee. We'll be back here tomorrow sometime in the afternoon for our par 3 event, our newest weekly event, par 3s. Wednesday, we'll be here for Bonnie Moore Classic Course of the Week for prizes, Throwback Thursday contest on Thursday, and then Freaky Friday as well. So, from the Golden Tee Lounge, thanks for sticking in there today. Monday mix-up, $1,598 prize pool for today's contest on Misty Springs. You have about a little under 11 hours left to play. So we'll see you back here tomorrow for all par 3 weekly event. Till then, stay safe, shoot some good scores, and send us your YouTube shots.